Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to make a request to you to look through the rules of Parliament and find if it is admissible in this House that a member can stand here and cast aspersions on ministers who serve in this government. My request to you is to look at the rules of Parliament and advise us on this matter. Honorable Maimane.
Order, honorable members. Order.
On a point of order, Speaker.
What's the point of order, Honorable Shibambu?
The point of order is that when a member of Parliament is of the view that a certain rule of Parliament has been violated, they rise on a point of order and immediately indicate that there's been a violation of a rule, and then give you an opportunity to rule on it, and not opportunistically take a podium and do what the Minister of Human Settlement is doing, because it's totally out of order to want to abuse that
Honorable
platform
Shibambu,
for things which otherwise are provided
the point
for
of debate is taken. Honorable Minister, please proceed.
My request stands, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I find that it is absolutely dishonorable for Honorable Maimane to take credit for the change of government that was a structural.
Order, honorable members. Allow the minister to please make his speech. Honorable Minister, please proceed with your contribution.
The structural adjustment within the ANC was driven by the ANC and has nothing to do with the opposition. And he continues for exaggerated effect to talk of a broken state. South Africa is not a broken state. We have our problems, but it is not a broken state. And you no doubt overlook the quagmire that surrounds the city of Cape Town while you talk of a broken state in South Africa. Madam Speaker, let me join everybody in congratulating you, Honorable Comrade President, on being elected the President of our Republic, and reiterate the good wishes and confidence of our party that the Chief Whip has conveyed to you. I would like to join the Chief Whip too in thanking you in acknowledging the contribution of former President Zuma in the struggle and in government. It was the right thing to do, and it helped cement a message that the change of government was not out of malice. He's a leader of our organization and a former president. The State of the Nation address that you delivered on Friday, the 16th February in 2018, removed any doubt that could have existed that your ascension to the presidency was indeed timely. It has already helped the country to regain its focus and imbued our people with much needed renewed energy. In your speech, you took us back to that period, I think it has been referred to, where former President Mbeki stood here and gave his seminal speech on I'm an African. It took overwhelmingly everybody in this room with him, and in the euphoria that followed, there was unanimity that we were one. We're all of us one, we're Africans. Similarly, after your speech, there was a unanimous feeling of joy and approval, and the entire chamber rose as one to applaud the renewed hope that you gave. Hope, Mr. President, is the most fertile state of mind to drive a people forward. You change the collective country's thoughts from concentrating on negativity to a positive mood. Your closing paragraph, as has been mentioned, was singularly touching when you invoked the appropriate message that you borrowed from our own recently departed African jazz giant Hugh Masekela, and you asked us to send you. And in essence, you were asking all of us to follow suit, and each one of us to volunteer to be an activist of this renewed hope. It was a call to each one of us to lend a hand to fight poverty, to fight AIDS, to fight cancer, to defeat alcohol, drug abuse, and to end abuse of women and children, and lend a hand to fight all forms of discrimination. It was a call to active participant citizenry, where each citizen feels valued, their contribution called upon, so that all of us can be part of this creation of a better life for all. On behalf of the ANC, we accept the call that you have given to each one of us here to serve and to be ready to serve. And we say in return, send us too, because siyavuma. Angisho Jackson, siyavuma. Anginizwa siyavuma. Ngiyabonga. And so too would every decent citizen agree. It is a must. Let each citizen ask themselves what they can do for the country, not what the country can do for them. If through your actions you inspire us to feel included and allowed to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and become more, then you are indeed on the right path. Our potential as a people is endless. Lead us to get to it. Immediately after your speech, Mr. President, and the cheering that ensued in the chamber, the opposition suddenly found a different voice outside of this chamber and complained that the speech was full of promise, blowing in the wind with no plan. Two things need to be made clear in response. First, we do have a plan that was accepted and adopted by all in this House. It is called the National Development Plan. That is our plan. That is the national plan. The President was the deputy head of the commission that developed that plan, and he has been leader of government business, is on top of all the issues that confront us here today. He has a plan. He knew what he was talking about. It was not hot air blowing in the wind. Secondly, the President mapped out the steps that he was going to take with each commitment that he made. Those summits are the first steps of those plans. He has a plan, we have a plan, and you are part of that plan. You will be invited to those summits. Thirdly, and most importantly, you are part of that plan because the President has made a commitment that the first thing he wants to do is, as a priority, is to meet each one of the leaders of the opposition. Mr. President, we've taken note of your instruction that perhaps we should do something about our governance. We do remain convinced about the need to do something about our governance. Perhaps the review of the size and structure of government departments is one of those things that we would be looking at. In view of the resources that are available to us, it would be a necessary cost cutter. Governance, by its very nature, calls on all of us to constantly revisit the plans that we have and the paths that we have chosen to assess their efficacy and respond to the environment we operate in. We will streamline the work of government across the departments at national level and at various spheres as well. Mr. President, you stated the need to perhaps revisit each department and make sure that perhaps you find what we should be doing there. This would be good if you did it under conditions of anonymity, or if you did not indicate that you would be visiting the departments involved. We look forward to hearing from you what you find in those departments. Mr. President, as you emphasized the configuration and the effectiveness of government, you also emphasize the effectiveness and governance of state-owned enterprises, that they should play a meaningful role in a developmental state. We welcome this. As the Constitution enjoins us that we should, amongst other things, improve the quality of life of all citizens, free the potential of each person, itself a necessary condition for the radical socio-economic transformation, we have therefore established in the public sector institutions, organizations, and structures whose main objective are the fulfillment and the other constitutional imperatives that are upon us. There is no doubt that we have to continue to face serious challenges that we have had in the public sector, and in this regard, we will work tirelessly and speedily to make sure that there are tangible effects to this in the triple challenges of inequality, poverty, and unemployment. The issue you raise, Mr. President, the issues indeed that you raise are not only important to the governing party, they are of national importance, provincial importance, and at local government as well. The need to focus on building a capable state is an issue that all political parties should be concerned about and in fact rally around. We can start with having a capable state around the city of Cape Town. We may contest for political power, we are granted, and based on our differing notions on the future of the state, but we should all agree that we need a capable state for the future of our children. In 2011, it became very clear from an effective and efficient and capable state point of view that we dream of, for the purposes of complying with constitutional requirements of public administration and for the purposes of dealing with a myriad of problems pointed out by the Auditor General, the Public Service Commission, and other Chapter 9 institutions to do something about the state of governments. In pursuance of this, we established a commission, and after that, we had the Public Administration Bill in place, which acts as an instrument to guide all of us in having proper administration of government. And in this, we streamlined both the national, provincial, and local government. The PAM Bill is a corrective and proactive regulatory instrument. It is corrective in the sense that it is a response to many structural human weaknesses that continue to bedevil the public service. These weaknesses have been captured by the National Development Commission's diagnostic report, and these have continuously been reported to us. The need for further elaboration on the PAM Bill is with us, and if we focus on that, we will get the basis of a capable state ongoing. We can do better. In essence, the PAM Bill is based on the following pillars of the Constitution. A high standard of professional ethics must be promoted and maintained. 2, efficient economic use of resources must be promoted. Public administration must be development-oriented. Services must be provided impartially, fairly, equitably, and without bias. People's needs must be responded to, and the public must be encouraged. This is the preamble of the PAM Bill. Mr. President, I take the occasion now to go on to say that the issue of corruption that you mentioned is something that is very central to the PAM Bill, very central to our concerns, and we have dealt with it, and we will continue to look into this matter. We now have a Development and Planning and Monitoring and Evaluation Department created in 2014, where the 2 ministries in the presidency were merged. We now have a mandate paper that guides government. We need to strengthen these by conducting more inside monitoring, Mr. President, alongside with you. The National Development Plan is instructive in the steps we take to improve the delivery performance of the state, and it is notable that the example that is used in this is that of water. Not water now, but generally at the point at which the National Development Plan was put in place. And this is what it says, I quote, "The public needs a clearer sense of who is accountable for what. There is a need to have systems to hold all leaders in society accountable for their conduct. Weak, poorly performing systems make it hard to attribute responsibility, with the frequent result that no one is accountable in the end. The plan cites the example of what happens when water in a town is found to be undrinkable, or the situation that we find ourselves in Cape Town. The media blames the Minister of Water Affairs, the community blames the mayor blames the head of the water utility. This comes from the NDP, if you haven't read it. The mayor blames the head of the water utility. The head of the water utility blames the technical engineer. The engineer says the maintenance budget has been cut for the past 3 years, and now the water is undrinkable. The head of the finance in the municipalities that the budget was cut because personnel costs have crowded out maintenance expenditure, and so it goes on, and so it goes on. So South Africa's intergovernmental system, complex as it is, needs to be managed, and it needs to be managed now. Mr. President, we have a value add in our approach to public servants, and this value add is measured in a motto that we adopted, all of us, that public servants are bound by this. And this motto is Batubeli. Together with their representatives, a service charter was signed in 2013, which binds all public servants, and the preamble to the service charter states as follows for your information. All employees of the state commit to upholding the values and principles of public administration enshrined in Section 195 of the Constitution and other laws and policies and frameworks. It upholds the constitutional responsibility of the state, clearly articulated in the Bill of Rights, to deliver services to its citizens. It notes the continued effort of the state and the public servants in building a developmental state. It acknowledges the service delivery challenges in the public service and is equally concerned about the increasing manifestation of corruption in the public sector. And all public servants are required to commit themselves to this charter and sign a contract with the state that they will abide by that. Mr. President, at this point, I wanted to bring to your attention a request that has come to me to send to you, Mr. President. The request is, in the heyday of our changeover of government, the media followed us everywhere and suffered overwhelming fatigue. We have learned with regret that Peter Ndoro has lost his job. Mr. President, we ask you to stand up and assure the country that he has not killed you. You are alive, that you have forgiven Peter Ndoro. And because we think he is an outstanding representative of this country. In conclusion, I hope you will give me my time.
Order, honorable members. Order. People hadn't gotten the news about Peter Ndoro, so there's a bit of confusion.
I am so sorry. I was conveying to the President our concern about the fact that we in the ruling party have kept the media on their toes and maybe have done them harm. And the President needs to indicate he's still alive. He is not been killed. He has not been killed. Shall I continue?
Please
Chair?
proceed, Honorable Minister. Order, honorable members. Allow Honorable Minister to finish.
What?
Please, Honorable Minister, just
I want
finish
my
your
time.
speech.
Right. You're the biggest one. This is a message to the President. Mr. President, what destination should those steering the Republic keep their eyes fixed upon? By what cause should they guide us there? The answer to what most reasonable, decent, and blessed people always desire, namely a better life for all and honor. Those who wish this are our best citizens, none of whom are here. Those who make it happen are our best leaders over there and are considered to be our saviors. These people who govern us Speaker, I do request your protection as I close.
Honorable Minister, you are protected.
Thank you.
Please finish.
Mr. President.
Order, honorable members. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, you are going to delay Honorable Malema.
Thank you, Speaker. Can the minister sit down? Clearly
No.
she's done.
No, she must just finish her speech.
But she doesn't know what she wants to say now.
Please take a seat, Honorable.
Our people are
Dozie.
waiting for the president to speak now at home.
Honorable Dozie, sit down. Let the minister finish off her speech.
Those people who govern us should not ever be carried away by their own political power, that they turn away from the promise to our people. But neither should they embrace a peace that is dishonorable and a state that is dishonorable. The founding principles of our republic, the essence of a better life with honor, the values that our leaders should defend and guard with their very lives if necessary, are those respecting the religion of our people, the Constitution, discovering the will of the people, and making sure, please, Honorable Speaker, protect me from these people. We allowed
Order, honorable members.
We allowed you to grandstand.
When you are talking incessantly, she can't even hear herself think. Please give the minister a chance.
Speaker, order, Speaker.
What's the point of order, Honorable Lindiwe?
Can you allow our president? Our people are waiting to hear from the president. She's not ready. She's just not ready. She's telling us about Pitandoro,
Yes,
Pitandoro,
honorable.
Pitandoro.
Please take
Want
your
to
seat.
hear a
Take your
revolutionary
seat,
speech?
Honorable Deputy SG of the EFF. Please allow the minister to finish.
This which I am quoting, which is a fundamental of democracy, will apply to your president in 20 years' time or 24 years' time, whatever the time it takes. What I wanted to say, Mr. President, to you in particular, is that the authority of state is vested in this parliament, obeying the law, valuing the traditions of democracy, upholding the courts and their verdicts, and practicing integrity, defending all of us and defending the country, standing up for our country. This is what we expect of you always. This is what we got from you. This is the commitment that you gave to this House, and we applaud you, and we're very grateful for the fact that you stood here to give us renewed hope. Thank you very much, President.